how's everything? How you doing?
It's been well, man. It's been well. Family is safe. I'm safe, and I mean that's the most important thing right now. Flourishing, so there's no complaints on.
Oh, that's great. That's great. So listen, I've been a big fan for years or something. Kelvin played with you guys back when it was Team Scan and stuff, and I've been, watching you guys, following you guys, and with it all ever since or something. My first question, is like, what made you want to start a program to begin with?
Yeah, I mean, I think the most important thing for anybody like in life, you just want to find a way to give back, right? I think all of us that's probably on here, we've had mentors in our life. We've had people that looked out for us, and not giving back, you kind of just flow life. So I know two things we love is education, love basketball, and once you figured out, you could do both and make it a profession. I think it made sense for me holistically on a day-to-day basis, and the people that I'm around kind of have similarities in that front. But the biggest thing, being able to, when you walk off this planet, you want to be able to say, "Hey, I did some good things, and I helped somebody else that keep the train moving."
Yeah. Yeah. I know the program was. I know the program from being around. It started like the original four guys. Could you tell me how that whole thing came together?
Yeah, man, we all went to college together. I mean, I think when you come out of school, everybody kind of went into different ventures. But then on the side of that, we all communicated and wanted to do something that was just outside of the 9 to 5, and the energy you was putting in with 8 hours, with someone else. And I reached out to those guys one by one and kind of just told them like, "Hey, let's need help. I think I got a going on and running an after school program with a bunch of phenomenal kids that look like we could do some great things if we form a vulture and try to make something bigger than ourselves." Most important thing is you got people that are trustworthy, and you got AAU basketball grassroots, big team that's around you, right? And they all bosses. They all bring something special to the table. And when you start to look at things from a business standpoint, around yourself with people that are if not just as smart as you in certain areas. Right? So a big thing for me, always surround myself with people that's going to challenge me to be a better man, and people that are going to challenge the kids, and great role models before we went to look for X and O's. Kind of just was looking for great people, and who better to start with people that you've been around 7 days a week for 4 or 5,
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. So I remember, when you were just at the gym over, at the gym over there at Malali's or something. I mean, could you tell people how hard it is to come across getting those types of sponsorships and maintaining them and stuff like that?
Yeah, man. When we started, man, we was we was selling candy. We were doing raffle tickets. We were selling sodas, Costco. Like crazy people don't know. Like I unplugged the soda machine in the after school program, so that guys could buy the sodas he was purchasing from Costco's on a weekly basis. And flip that to being able to get some Converse for the kids, right? And we were taking, the candy, the M&Ms, and Skittles, and all that. Those guys was flipping boxes on a bi-weekly basis when they walked in practice to get some practice gear. And I think the biggest thing is we came from humble beginnings, and having that mom and pop feel, and that people say get it out the mud. Like we walked that journey, right? And we the guys that were in that first group of kids from 6th grade, we didn't even go looking for a deal. Like we were just in there saying, "Hey, listen, we keeping these guys off the street every day. They getting better because we got a facility. They doing their schoolwork." And we were more so worried about where they were going academically and what schools they were kind of like applying to and transferring out of middle school into high schools. And I mean, I think we just every day kind of use the basketball, as they say, as the carrot to keep them guys focused, right? And they loved it because we were winning. I mean, and then every time we were winning, we were selling more stuff, and we was doing scratch off cards, and we had guys using the gym, and the older guys would come in and use the scratch off cards and give their donation to the program. And every way that we can do it, we figured it out. We wasn't charging the parents, and the kids were earning every single thing they got. I mean, we started it without a backpack, without we was doing string bags and mismatched everything. Like we had a different backpack from a different pair of sweatpants. I mean, we take it back to the Starberries. Like we was wearing Starberries and and Converse shirts, Russell athletic shooting shirts. Like we literally just was getting it as we was going. Like, you know, my partner Justin say we were building the plane as we was flying it, you know, and every week we were trying to figure it out. Like we didn't even know enough. We was doing Division II AAU and didn't know the difference between Division II and Division I. All we knew was the competition and dudes wanted to play and we wanted to keep these kids active, man. I mean, those are honestly some of the better days. Like we didn't have a issue with playing in Central Park or 96th Street Y or going to Philadelphia. All we knew was it was competition and we gonna just keep crashing on people's heads. And the more we won, the more people seen us. And you know, we would get into it. And year by year, we learned more as the adults that were leading, and the kids trusted more, and they got better and better and better because we were doing everything, stations to running on the track to running the hills to we used that park that was outside. You know, we made do with every single thing we had around us, right? And with no expenses and nobody handing us nothing, which made it better because no one can sit there and say that they handed us anything. There was no Santa Claus coming down that chimney with no bag of nothing. You know, it was really wake up every morning and figure out how to make the best of what we had. But we had some committed kids and committed parents, and those guys, you know, every single day they just worked. They trusted the process and trusted some people that as we're going forward, we were learning. You know, we were trying to learn the game. But you know, and to get the deal, you know, we were fortunate enough when people came to us. And it's a different story. Like people do things now where everything is about, hey, I want to get a kid that can help me get a deal. What we did is we built the infrastructure. Our roots were strong. We built the culture. We built the foundation. And then we knew what we stood for, and we knew how to win on and off the court, right? Holistically. And then when the deal came, we knew how to keep it because we knew what it took to get it. And it wasn't just one kid. You know, it's not one it's not one tournament. It's not one team. It's literally a foundation of things to come, and a presence in the community, a presence in, you know, everything that you can think of, like to this day, you know, from voting and giving back. And, you know, our guys are awesome, man. They were really good kids. So when we got the deal, it was just, it was a higher level of basketball, but we never changed how we operated. Like the standards were the standards, you know, on and off the court. So yeah, we were fortunate.
My next question for you was going to be, considering how much your program has grown, has it been difficult to maintain that mom and pop?
Yeah, no, definitely, man. I mean, you go from 10 kids in the 7th grade where you can give them every single thing that you have to, you know, we up to 100, right? Where when I say 100, it's hard to maintain a every single day mom and pop feel when you know, you never graduate from this program. Like you got guys who are 25, 26 years old right now, and it's just different resources that they need, right? And then if you look at it, it's difficult to maintain that mom and pop feel when the guys that come in now, they didn't necessarily have to roll their sleeves up and do the things that the younger generation had to do that came before them. So we got to be creative and having them earn stuff, right? Where you got to deal logistically, you giving these guys stuff that it's just because it's part of the package, right? It's stuff that's already, it's expected, and it's not, they didn't do anything wrong. But I think, you know, when you go forward, you keep that mom and pop feel from the staff, right? We keep our staff short and powerful, and then full of brothers that are friends. Like these aren't my coworkers or staff. It's literally dudes that I ride with every day in life. And then we try to do stuff that keep us attached to the guy. Go see them, take them to lunch. You know, keep in contact with them via Zooms, keep in contact with them. You know, go to their high school games, go to their college games, go to their pro games, take them to dinner, email them, FaceTime them. So, like, that's where the mom and pop thing is still there, right? And then you create cultures where the older generation is connected to the new generation. So if you got a kid from 2014, he talking to a kid from 2024. It's 10 classes removed, but they still got the same walk of life. They still got the same story, and they still got that same grind. So I think it changes just because politically and socially and network wise, it's just bigger, right? And you doing galas now instead of Christmas parties. You know what I mean? You doing black tie affairs instead of just a birthday party. So like, it's still the mom and pop thing is still there from a standpoint of like everybody knows all of the staff and all of the staff knows everyone right now. I mean, it's a lot more kids to keep your hands on to try to help. You got to be creative and you got to be energetic and make sure that you touching everybody. You can't leave somebody out there. So that's a tough task, but we manage. Great question though.
Now, one of the things I heard you say was that like certain teams nowadays will try to attract that star player to get sponsorships and stuff like that. Considering y'all did it the opposite way, do you find yourself like attracting like certain players want to come play for you guys?
Yeah, I mean, I think when we first started, we were trying to explain what we can do. And as we go forward now, we have proof in the pudding, right? Like you walk into the store and you kind of like, hey, let's say you tear your ACL. You picking a doctor, you're trying to figure out, hey, who else ACL have you done? Who have you done the surgery on? And if someone said, hey, I did Paul George's ACL, you're like, oh, you know what? He bounced back pretty well. I'm going to mess with him, right? So now we have proof in the pudding. We have the stats. We have facts. It's not theoretical. This is like, hey, this works. Like everything we saying, this is the end result if you walk this path. If you do it the right way, you can't cut corners, obviously. But I think what we have now is just backing that our concepts are working. And we have a way that we travel. We have a way that we do every single thing from, high school placement, college placement, just everything that we can think of that's in the process. We have our style of play, so it's there.
Sounds like kind of like a
Just how you doing, Munch?
machine at this point, Given that, is there any way you could see it expanding even further than where it is now?
Yeah, I mean, on the outside looking, people can think it's a machine because of the production of it. You know what I mean? The results, like, man, these dudes got 82 kids in college in 8 years. Like, you look at that and you like, man, that got to be easy. Like, they got that thing churning. But the work itself, like people always tell you, man, you don't. Nobody wants to know the process of getting it done. They just know the results. So yeah, I mean, when you own a house, but we're on the inside, like we're doing the work. You know what I mean? Like it looked like a Ferrari, but if you got a Hugo engine, that's a bad time. So I mean, for us, there's definitely ways to expand. I mean, we're doing things where we want to teach guys about real estate. We want to teach guys about investment. We want to teach guys about opening bank accounts. Teaching them that. We want to obviously teach them, community-based stuff. We obviously doing stuff with the give back. I don't know if it's a, should we have a girl side or a boy side? Like, I don't know if it's that. A lot of the stuff that we try to think about isn't centered around just the basketball stuff, right? Like having different scholarship funds. So having guys that, came through the program, graduated from college, like having some scholarship funds in their name, right? Then dudes who might not have been, NBA guys, like you can get middle school teams under their name. But a big thing also is getting guys when they finish their basketball careers to come back and help run the program, right? Those guys, they know the ins and outs. They know, like we talked about, they know that mom and pop feel from the mud. We want to have those guys lead us into the next generation, and have them carry the torch. Who better than the dudes that walked it, right? So I think that's another way for us to continue to expand on what we're doing. Just everything you can think of, man, that makes you a better man, right? Like those are the things that we're into.
How you doing, Munch, man? I'm glad you're here with us, brother.
Appreciate you having me, man. Real talk.
I want to ask you, do you guys have no doubt, Actually, two questions. Do you guys have like a GPA requirement for the kids, and what is that? And you have any more goals moving forward with the program?
Yeah, I mean, it's not set GPA, and the reason why I said, I mean, one thing is set that you need to be passing all your classes. Like, um, I look at things from my standpoint. Like when I was in high school,
Right.
I can't tell somebody like, hey, if you're doing your best and your best is 75s, then I can respect that. If you're doing your best and your best is 90, I'm going to respect that. But like, you can't walk into this place and be getting, the speed limit 55s up and down and think you're going to be playing like you're not wearing the jersey, right? There's been documented cases where guys were like, hey, this
Right.
dude's basically redshirted me. Like I couldn't play until I got my grades together. So it's not a set GPA. We obviously would love guys to have 80s and above, but it's ultimately individual based. I mean, we got guys who are scholars and straight A's, and we got guys who got learning deficiencies, right? We got guys who they don't know it until they're older when they need IEP and special services from their school setting, right? So if a kid, has these different learning
Hmm.
deficiencies for whatever reason, I can't expect that kid without the proper services and a proper structure to be getting straight A's, right? But the kid who I know, hey man, you got the potential to make to go to an Ivy League school. I'm not gonna sit there and let him be running around getting 75s, right? So everybody individually based is kind of like a case study. It's like social work where, every file you kind of got to know each individual kid and try to get them to maximize their potential on the court and off the court, like in the classroom. So if you look at it from a basketball sense, the kid that shoot like Steph Curry, you want him to be able to start handling the ball, right? And for us, the kid who is in the classroom that he's a big time scholar, we want to encourage him to try to take some AP classes. But when it comes to the academics, man, I think the one thing everybody knows is, listen, you're not going to be failing classes at PSA and traveling and playing. Like there's been cases where guys came to us from different circumstances and they needed to learn our way of doing things, our standards, how we were going to support them. Like, so you can be a kid who on a day-to-day, you on a progress support every single day where you trying to explain to somebody and your teachers are signing off on the fact that you went to school every day, did your homework, participated. There's no issues. Like you can have a kid in 11th grade doing that, but guys come to us and sometimes in middle school, sometimes guys come in ninth, but we meet you where you are. And then we try to make sure that you have all the proper tutoring or services or whatever you need. And sometimes that means, you just need a different school setting. You need a smaller classroom. You need a school that got 5 kids in the class. Maybe you just need to sit in the front of the class to make sure that things are going. Maybe you
Hmm.
somebody coming to your school 2 days a week to make sure that you feel like you got a support system. Maybe it's you being on FaceTime, getting tutored in that Spanish class that that you're struggling at, and that's when the alumni, they come in handy for that stuff too. As they get older, those guys don't mind tutoring the younger guys because they know the journey. But to like I said, we don't have a certain GPA. I've never been one of those guys that's like there's certain programs, and that's not to bash those guys that when I came up, I remember not being a kid that was like, hey, if I get all 90s, I could be a part of Seeds or, Prep for Prep and Oliver. Like there's certain programs that only want to take the guys who are big time scholars. We're like, look, man, give us the kid that just want to work. Like as long as you want to dedicate yourself and put that pain in and understand like somebody gonna be here to help you if you want the help. And there's every coach in our program got a college degree. Like we could do it in house. If you don't got the money for like a Sylvan Learning Center or whatever the case may be, like we have the qualifications to do it here. So utilize that. So I hope that answers your first question. The second question was
For sure, for sure.
say the second question again. I'm sorry about that.
What are your goals you have with the program moving forward?
Yeah, that's a
Any
great question.
goals for the program
Yep.
moving forward?
Yeah. Program wise, I mean, I'll just start on the court. I mean, most people know about the basketball side. Like we made Peace Jam, Nike Peace Jam last year or the year before because we didn't have anything this year because of COVID. We made Peace Jam with all 3 teams. And the goal of mine personally is to make Peace Jam with all 3 teams again. I don't know how many Nike teams have made Peace Jam
Gotcha.
back year with all 3 teams. Like I'm a big believer in program team by team by team as opposed to just having one really stacked team and the rest of those guys are just mediocre. So basketball wise, that's my in-house goal for this season coming up. For all three teams to make Peace Jam. Program as far as like just expanding and becoming, better. I mean, I think I want us to be like our reputation to be even that much better. Like, I want us to be able to cultivate people that want to get behind us and that look like us. And it's like, nah, I'm riding with them because they work hard and they put on, and they're not selfish guys, right? They gonna make sure that they give everything they can. So I think a big thing is just that concept of legacy, right? It's not how many games we win. It's not how many kids go to the league. I think it's just what we stood for. And when it's our turn to walk away and doing it on our terms, like that's a big goal. Like most people they get forced to walk away, right? The program begins so bad that new blood come in and somebody tell you, hey man, exit left. I think for us, I think it'd be powerful if we can, write our own ending to our book and say, all right, we did enough. It's our time to go ahead and move on. But the New York City respected what we did, because I feel like at this point, the country respects us more than our own local people, for whatever reason. But that's gonna come. We continue to get better at what we're doing right here at home base. Then we'll continue to win over more people, and that's our job to make people understand that we care and we want to do the things the right way, and we want to represent this state every single chance we get. So I think that's the way our program can become even better, by incorporating good people and empowering our own people, right? From everything to dudes want to work, dudes want to get college jobs, dudes want to get high school jobs, dudes want to be, a teacher, like whatever it is that we can help with, we want to extend our resources and share. Like I literally was just telling somebody today, like, I feel like our Nike deal, I want it to be considered the community's Nike deal, where like all of our resources that we have is shared amongst everybody. Like people are always saying, hey, do you have this? Can you let me hold that? Can you give me this? And I want us to be the program that people are like, nah, them guys, if my son need a winter coat and December comes around, they're gonna figure out how to make it happen. If my son need a haircut and daddy's in jail or whatever the case may be, they'll figure it out. So I just want us to, I want our legacy to continue to be something bigger than what we did on the basketball court.
Yeah, I think going back to like the comments where I was asking about the well-oiled machine, that's the part you're describing, the part that people don't see,
Yeah.
behind the scenes, the work you guys are putting in the community. That's what people don't see.
Yeah, I mean, and the one thing you can't do is do it. You can't do stuff just looking for the credit, right? You just got to do it because it's the right thing. And if the credit comes, it comes, and I think one thing I learned is do not allow people to move the goalposts on you, to put their standards on you, because you'd never meet people's standards. Like whenever you do something and yo man, you make the championship game in Peace Jam, dudes will be like, you should have won it, or you're not that elite, or you put 12 kids in college, they'll tell you, man, you should have did 20. Like somebody's gonna always move the goalposts, but you got to have stuff that you believe in and what's gonna help you sleep at night. Create your own standards, but make sure they're high enough where you got to put some pain in to get them.
Now, do you think the Nike deal has had like some adverse effects?
Yeah. I'll be honest. Like I feel like when you're great at something, you become a threat, right? Okay. I think it could be your local bus driver that used to say good morning to you when you get on the bus, but all of a sudden you get a Nike deal and the dude is like, he don't want to say good morning no more. You're like, yo, what happened? He's like, I got the Nike deal. Like, it's this thing where people think, it's a magic wand, right? And it turns into the crabs in the barrel sometimes, because you got something that someone else wants and you don't know why. In the beginning, I don't know why people don't like us. Like, what did we do different than what we've been doing? Right? Everybody respects the get it out the mud story. Like, that's what we all doing somehow, some way, in different forms. But it definitely had the reverse effect as far as in the community, where people were just like, other people, that's competition. You know what I mean? Like when it was competition, it's like, nah, them dudes ain't cool no more. Like people could not know who you are as a person, but have a comment about your character or anybody in your program, and they don't know these people. It's just they got a Nike deal, and I don't like it, right? For whatever reason. When it had that, I feel like it had personally. I feel like it had that reverse effect, right? And you have to learn how to get tough skin real quick, and you got to learn how to love the people that love you, and let everything else roll off your back and keep it moving. And I say it like this, man. Nobody loved the Yankees when they was winning all them World Series, man. Nobody loved the Patriots other than the dudes in New England. You know what I mean? So
Right.
kind of got that energy when we were the ones who got anointed the deal. And it could have been because we wasn't searching for it, right? And this is something people grow up wanting to do. Like, I want to be in that seat for some reason. They think it's something that's going to change their entire makeup of a man. Like, but it doesn't. You just, and the standards become higher. The other thing I think it happened was you can lose yourself in what you were built on. And when I say that, I mean by like community and kids from the neighborhood, and the competition part of it kind of makes you think, tag, I might need to get this kid because he can help us win. And if we win, this thing could keep churning and you could keep helping other kids. So there was dilemmas with us with, how do we keep all of these kids? Like, how do you remain loyal to the kid that just didn't get taller, didn't get better, right? Like, whatever happened, how many kids can you carry on a team? Like, how do you maneuver that? Because, it's real now. It's a business, right? You got contracts, and the same way you sign them, the same way you can't not sign them, right? So you got to figure out how to do everything, how to keep everybody happy, right? That young kid that you need he needs that basketball to keep him off the street because there's nothing positive going in the house. You got to find a way to keep that kid on the team. But you taking him on the road and he can't help you on the court, and now he got an attitude for the whole weekend. But he's not understanding the big picture of, man, I'm just trying to get you to college. Like, just take this ride with me, I think it had that effect. I think at times you get the, when you had to earn every single thing from the people that's in the program, sometimes people they could expect things that's not, you shouldn't expect that. The only thing you should expect is people to work hard for you, that love your kid and want to see him win. But then, it comes with all type of logistical stuff with people think, they should get more than what they deserve. That's something that to me was a reverse effect.
So with that, how do it's got to be hard to balance that, like you said, keeping the community and recruiting, kids and stuff like that. I mean, in the city, even back in the days, I could tell it was kind of like a weird feeling or whatever. You guys have always looked out for like the kids, try to get, help them get better educations and do everything or something. I mean, how is it like what's in right now as far as recruiting kids that are not necessarily, from the city, and then this whole deal with like the local high school coaches and the prep coaches and stuff? Because I always thought that was kind of like a weird dynamic, like how they felt and seemed to act.
I mean, I think if you think about it, like, we just did something that was different, right? And people don't like stuff that's different that they don't understand. You start talking about, hey man, these kids is going to prep school in 7th grade, and they're like, what are you talking about? Why would you leave? Why would you take a kid out of PS 99? Like, that's all we know in the community is PS 99. But it's like, no, like, all right, somebody went and found something that's like another opportunity. It's only right that we present that opportunity. We're not telling you have to take this opportunity. Like, but if you could tell somebody a situation that might be better, you just want to have them look at it and say, look, this is what you're used to isn't the only thing that's presented in the world, right? And people have a hard time with change, but change is constant. So we started with that, and then people were like, I don't think it affected them into big time talent started walking out the city, right? Like when the guy that was like the kid from down the block that was 5'7", nobody was paying him no mind. And he was going to prep school. Didn't nobody care, right? But when that 6'9" dude disappeared and he's like, oh, you know what? I'm going to go ahead and go to this school in Connecticut. And guys are like, oh, nah, this is not cool. They doing something different, and they doing it their way. But you got to remember the way we came up, we did it the way we wanted to do it in our way. Like nobody gave us a helping hand. So now you can't comment on how we move. And we're not affecting you guys. Like we're not doing anything personally to nobody else, right? We just got our way of running our household. It's like everybody on this call right now is a man. And as a man, you're gonna run your household. And how you run your household, can another man come in your house and tell you how to run your household? Like if one household only drink water, that's that household. Another household is like, hey, I like soda. That's that household, right? You can't mix and match it. So we were running our household, and we don't hold no qualms and no worries, or we don't care if you upset. That's on you, as long as our kids are successful. But yeah, that was different. But like I said, man, go back to having tough skin and just putting the kids first, right? Because it wasn't kids that were upset; it's the adults. And I'm not here to please the adults. I'm here to literally help the guys. Like we're here to say, listen, this kid right here needs a better situation. Let's make it happen. And then when the numbers unfold, people that got common sense are saying like, you know what? They've had kids stay in public school, they've had kids stay in Catholic school, and they've had kids in prep school. Like if you look at our roster educationally, our guys are all over the place, right? You got Ty Jerome that was at Iona. You got AJ Griffin at Steppenneck. You got Jaquan Carlos at Jefferson. Jose Perez was at Wings. You got, Naeem going back to Naeem Thomas. He was at Steppenneck. Shavar Newkirk was at Cardinal Hayes for 4 years. He started out at Rice, right? He was one of the original guys. So, and then you got other guys that say, hey, I went the prep school route. Like, as long as each one of them are graduating high school, like we had a 100% graduation rate in high school and 100% graduation rate in college. Like, what are we talking about at this point, right? We getting it done. Like, that's, by hook or crook, and everybody's getting it done. Everybody's fine. But we got options. And that's the thing. We just added another option to the kid that looked like us. We added another option to his household, right? And I think what happened was the high school coaches, they started to understand, like, listen, this is how this program runs. Each kid's gonna have 3 options: your public school, your Catholic school, your prep school, and they're gonna figure out which one is best. And if you don't win that situation, it happens, right? Because here's the reality: no disrespect to anybody, but it's not a lot of guys calling our phone to say, "Hey, I got a kid for you," right? We're doing the hand in the kids. We're giving the kid. You're not giving it to us. It's not that often. So at this point, we got to do it the way that's going to work for us. And it doesn't make sense for us to force a kid to stay here and the kid is failing, and it's not working holistically versus, hey, man, that means you got to take a step out the city to go to a school in Massachusetts and it works. Then that's what we got to go with. Right. And there's been time. This is what people don't understand. There's been times where our basketball has suffered because we put our kids in a better academic setting. Right? Like the junior boarding school, which is the middle school of prep schools. It goes from 6th grade to 9th grade. Those guys are at these junior boarding schools and playing 2 sports and not playing basketball every day, or the competition that they're playing is not, equivalent to the competition our guys are getting in the city. And then on the weekends, they coming straight to us and playing in big time hard events. That kid is lacking a little bit athletically because he hasn't had the time in the gym. But academically, he's in a way better setting. So if you look at tournaments like when our guys are young, whether it's fun sport, b-ball spotlight, made hoops, we're never as good as we are in high school because our middle school kids are not here. So when you're trying to put together, you got a full game weekend and the kid is like, hey, I can't come home because I got cross country, right? What do you tell that kid? You signed up, you got a full ride to go to this school. You got to do cross country, right? Or he's just not home that weekend. It's not Thanksgiving break or Christmas break. So guys are able to beat us on the basketball court because we've taken that stance of the academic comes first, right? And we got to ride with that. So you're not going to win as much as you want to. But eventually it evens itself out in high school, right? The schedule is the schedule. So, yeah, I hope that answered your question.
No, that's great. Listen, with all that stuff, like you said, all the kids that you guys manage to place between prep schools, high schools, colleges and stuff, man, could you tell people how hard it is actually to get somebody a scholarship in a college? Because I think some people
Yeah,
don't
man.
understand that demographic of how it goes from middle school, high school, how many kids drop off, and that's a small percentage that get that ride.
Yo, man, I tell you like this. It's been obviously everybody know COVID has been serious, right? The 2020 year has been unprecedented. We've dealing with, obviously Black Lives Matter and the pandemic and everything that went with it. And that 21 class, everybody knows how much they've been up against, right? To try to beat the odds has been the wildest time ever. But for us, we gonna manage to have 12 guys go Division I. Right. So like right
Wow.
now, 10 kids are committed, and the other two are just deciding on where they want to go. And 2 kids are going to the Ivy League, right? So to go 12 for 12 without playing basketball, like we literally did no basketball. We didn't practice. We didn't do a combine. We didn't play EYBL. We didn't scrimmage nobody. We didn't go in the gym. It was just like, no, it's not safe. We're not doing it, right? And all 12 of our guys are going to school for free. And that's because of, some of them guys were really elite. And then other guys were, listen, you got to pick the phone up. You got to do these interviews. You got to do these podcasts. You got to do these Zooms. You got to, you got to send these emails. You got to text these coaches. Like, people don't know, like, man, I wake up in the morning and at 7 a.m., I'll text 15 coaches, the same text about the same kid. And then screenshot that to the kid to say, good morning. You see what we doing here? We working, right? Like, we don't let it happen. We make it happen. So whatever people going to say, like, come on, this is, and when people see 12 out of 12, they're going to think, oh, it's that machine. It's just a machine. But it's like, no, like, dudes are literally the whole staff from, in-house, like, photo shoots with guys, right? To our own, we're doing our own podcast. Coach Dre's doing his own podcast to interview our own kids and then sending that podcast to schools. Like, you're doing your own, Instagram, you're doing your own, you're doing everything in-house. We cooking it up, right? And then we trying to get it out there in the right package to be able to have guys want our kids. But man, it's hard. You talking about taking a kid from 6th, 7th, 8th grade all the way through, and then it don't stop. Like, man, I'm doing interviews with NBA guys about Cole Anthony getting drafted, man. Like, we this stuff don't stop. It's 20, it's 7 days a week. This ain't, but it's ours. You know what I mean? So if I'm gonna put in that pain, I'm putting it in for ourselves. This is ours. Like, it's people in the music industry say this is our record label, and you can't, play for the team I own at the end of the day. But yeah, it's not easy, man. It's a lot of bumps, a lot of bruises, a lot of hard conversations. When, like, you think about some kids when they were the best player on the team here in the 8th grade, right? And by 17, you the 12th man. Think about the mental warfare for that kid every single day that he's going through this process. And then you got guys who they're smart enough to know, yo, I could stay at this program and not play as much, and I'm getting me a full ride. Because these dudes are telling me, by any means necessary, we're going to make sure you get to college. That's the why. Like, we're going to make sure you walk away and you in somebody's university. And that kid is just like, I'm not leaving. Like, we could cut kids. Like, you think about the teams we have, like, we could tell the dude that's 9, 10, 11, 12, yo, you cut. We just going to go get better players. But that's not fun. That's crazy. So you got to, you deal with it and you work around it. You try to get in the lab, get them better. But I mean, I love the kid that says, hey man, I'm gonna go to Lehigh. The same way I love the kid that's saying, man, I'm going to Duke. You know what I mean? Like, they all get treated the same. Like, it's love. So yeah, but that thing is hard. It's a lot of years. It's a lot of years, man.
I guess, yeah, to add on to that, how difficult was it to, like, forge those relationships with the college coaches and stuff like that?
Yeah, I'll tell you a funny story. Like, I got this thing where somebody would text my phone and be like, yo, Munch, let me get the number to the coach from Alabama. Right? Or somebody would text you and say, yo, let me get the number to the assistant coach at New Mexico State. And nobody ever processes how hard you have to go to get that number, right? How did you get that number? What's the sweat equity behind getting that contact? Like when I got like 4,000 contacts in my phone, right? When I first got this phone, you know, in this number in college, I didn't have no 4,000. I had 0 contacts. You got to start putting contacts in. So you got to do things that allow these people to one contact you and you to contact them. Like we started the program, people might tell you, like, man, we're sending cold emails. We was cold calling people. Like, listen, we got some talent over here. You might want to look at these dudes and sending a long email with a roster and some pictures and some mixtapes and all that. Like we doing that, right? So it takes years of building. And this is the other thing, it's relationship building, right? Because you might have a coach number in your phone and that coach might bounce around two or three spots in 6 years. So he didn't get a PSA kid yet. I mean, he wants a kid like at some point, right? That's the nature of it. So you're still cultivating that relationship, even though there's no exchange, right? There's no, you know, it didn't happen just yet. It could happen, but it didn't happen just yet. But, and I'll give you another stat, right? And this is crazy. In the last 32 kids to commit from PSA, they've gone to 30 different schools.
Wow.
The last 32 kids to commit, they've gone on to 30 different schools. Right? So if you think about the amount of finding the right fit, finding the right level, finding the right system, finding the right staff that you trust, everything to work, you got to have a long Rolodex. And that's, we're fortunate enough to have that, but it's through, you know, us having, you know, our high school event. It's through us having a combine. It's through us having, you know, NBA guys, college guys, really talented high school guys, having good relationships with the media where they're telling colleges you should recruit their program. The other thing people don't know is, man, when you turn on that TV and you see a kid getting right in college, those other schools are saying, hey, where did he come from? Right? You got the number one kid.
True.
You got the you know, you got an all rookie kid or the rookie of the year in the Patriot League or the rookie of the year in the Ivy League. Like you look around in our program, we liable to have the rookie in the Big East, the rookie of the year in the Atlantic 10, the rookie of the year in the Ivy League, like all in 1 year. You know what I mean? And the other people in the other coaches, in those conferences are saying, where did that kid come from? Oh, that's a PSA kid. And then the reputation gets better, right? These guys are going to help you when they're young and they stay out of trouble when they're on campus and they academically sound, right? They independent learners. So you like at the point where most colleges want just add water, right? They don't want a kid that got a bunch of things going on. They want as close as they can get to a finished product. So, I mean, cultivating those relationships like over and over from, you know, doing coaching clinics to the other thing people don't see is, man, we'll spend a whole day in New Jersey. It could be a Wednesday and it'd be 2 or 3 of us. And we're like, listen, we're going to New Jersey the entire day from 8 in the morning to like midnight. And we're going to visit, you know, the NJITs. We're going to visit Rutgers. We're going to visit Seton Hall. We're going to visit, you know, every FDU. We're visiting all of these schools. A lot of them might have a kid in our from our program in the school, but those who don't, we're just literally going in to watch a practice, to say what's up, stop in, keep the relationship going, 15, 20 minutes, move to the next school. And then we're going to see the kids that are from Jersey in our high school. And we'll do that in New Jersey. We'll do that in Philly. We'll do that in Connecticut or Massachusetts. Like, so that's the thing where people think it's a machine, but they don't see the process, right? Who's really trying to be like, hey, I'm putting 8 in the morning to 12 midnight in one state, but there's so much, you know, ground to cover in that state that you have to. We got, you know, you talking about kids at St. Benedict's and Rosedale and St. Pat's. Like, we got kids all over the place. So they need to check in. And then the colleges, you want them to see your face. Because here's the thing. If you got a kid at the school and you're known for a person that will check in on your kids, they're going to give your kids a better shake, right? You're going to get a check-in. Yo, man, you watching practice and your kid looking like a bag of dirt. You're going to tell them, hey, what you doing, man? You know, so the work is just the work, man, every single day, you know. But yeah, I mean, when people do that, I'll be like, this is crazy. Like, you just can call somebody and get the number that I just had to put in 9 months to get. You know, you can't call somebody and say, give me 50 cent number. You're like, yo, man, you got to earn that. Right?
That is true.
Yeah, but people do that all time. And if you don't give them the number, oh, you're a bad person. Right? You're a bad. It's the wildest thing ever. Like whatever resources you've been able to accumulate over the last 10 years, someone else is supposed to just automatically get those resources because they feel like you owe them for no reason though. Like they didn't do anything for you, but because you look like me and I look like you, I'm responsible to make sure whatever you ask me for, I got to give it to you. Or you know what? Fuck him. He's a loser. Excuse my French. You know what I mean? But they don't hold other people that don't look like me to that same standard.
Yeah.
Right? We got a whole nother bar that we got to meet, and people don't care what you have to do to get to whatever you at. They just want the resources.
Is there one kid that you started that kind of surprised you with his b-ball progression?
Man, that's a great question, man. A great question. That surprised me. You know what? That's come through PSA, right?
Yeah.
You know what? I'll say to a certain extent, like from when I watched him as a youngin' to where he's at now, I would say Terrance, right? Like,
right.
I remember the little dude in 6th, 7th grade and shoot the ball, but the athleticism was getting the best of him, right? And you know, middle school is a fast game, like a bunch of little dudes running around pressing and trapping. But his IQ was always through the roof. To see what he was able to do by like junior year in high school, senior year before the injury, and then I mean UVA, you know, win a national championship, start like, you know, be in the backcourt with another guy and lead the ACC and assist or something, and then get drafted in the first round. Like I don't know a lot of dudes that was like, look, Ty Jerome, we're betting our money on him being a pro, right? Like until later. Like he was in college on ESPN killing Carolina or something before people raised their hand to be like, yeah, he a pro. But, you know, I think if I go all the way back to like, man, at 12 years old to where he's at, like he surprised me with that. You know, I knew you could play, but the NBA is a hard thing to make. You know, that's a big time question by you. I've never had that. And I hats off to you.
Right.
So Munch, on the flip side, who would you say is the most impressive kid you ever went against that you felt was like this kid is really legit?
On the basketball court, okay. I'll say a couple years back, like he was doing some stuff where he was getting to it, and we're a big time defensive team.
Yeah.
In an organization, so when somebody's literally putting it on you like that, you gotta be like, wow, like this kid is special. Like just dudes that we played against, right? I'll do that. I thought, Josh Christopher was doing some stuff to us a couple years ago. You know what I mean? I don't know what he's gonna end up being. But Josh Christopher, you know who who was killing us? Tyler Eulis. Tyler was like the pieces he had around him. He shouldn't have been able to do the things that he was doing, and he was doing it. Like, and he was injured when he was doing it. So like that's the memory. Like, dude doing some stuff with one arm. Like, oh, this kid is different, right? IQ and all that. I think Tyler Eulis. We've played against the best of the best. Like,
yeah.
Like, you know what? Michael Porter and Trey did us real dirty. I'm not even gonna say dirty. They washed us in the championship game, like to the point where it felt like we didn't play. Like we were so tired and whatever the reason. But like I said, them two dudes that night, championship game, PSA, like they were looking like a video game. They had it going. But we played against everybody. Jason Tatum, Jaleel Okafor, like just everybody you could think of that's like lottery picks and in the NBA doing some stuff right now. We've gone against those guys, and honestly, like we locked them up. Like Ben Simmons might have had like 5 points against us. Like it's been a lot of big, heavy hitters who schematically and schemes and defensive, like our mindsets was like, nah, you're not doing that. Like it's not a lot of that pumped in 20 plus on us. Like, and we lucky, right? So the dudes who do put up 20 some, I'm like, damn, this dude was really getting to it. Like, what was we doing? You know what I mean? Like, but yeah, That's the answer to your question. It's a good question.
So with the draft and stuff coming, what do you think would be a good fit for Cole Anthony?
Oh man, I would love Cole at 11 to San Antonio.
Okay, yeah, I like that. Yeah, I like that one.
Holistically, San Antonio, the West Coast, you're away from, it's somewhat of a smaller market where the pressure's not be too crazy. But anytime you get a chance to get Popovich before he decided to hang it up, you got to take advantage of that. So I think what Pop knows about the game and Cole, like, they would be a phenomenal match. That's me. Like, I think him at 11 to San Antonio would be like me jumping up and down in the crib. Like, yeah, we won. Like, he going straight, and they win enough. Like, they win enough to get to the playoffs, But you can't turn out a chance to be coached by a Hall of Famer like that. He's won championships. He's coached the best. The culture of San Antonio is like A1. They got their stuff together, so that would be nice. And he would be in the lottery.
Yeah.
So, and I might start talking trash about it. I don't know. I haven't figured that out just yet,
So you've seen a lot of people as him in the program, as him go and excel and stuff like that. How does it feel when you see all these guys going pro, man? To see them achieve like this, man, and how you guys work with them and how it's good. It's good. Just the feeling how it is to see all these guys succeed like this.
Yeah. No, it's crazy because what people don't know, like, as they're doing something, there's another group of kids trying to get to where they at. And you're trying to give them the same attention that you gave these other guys, right? So, like, I don't know, I've been to more G League games than NBA games.
Okay.
Like, I've been, like, even though we got like 7 dudes that went to the league and like 7 classes, like, they'll tell you, like, Munch won't even come to my NBA game. Like, he'll come to the hotel and we'll have lunch or breakfast. Like, but like, the NBA dudes, I don't follow every game. It's too many games. Like, I hit them other stuff, like, yo, how you doing in life, But for me, the schedule is so crazy that, like, I'm watching 3-4 games at the same time, like a Wednesday night. So when you seeing, one of your guys getting off in the American Conference, and then you flip the channel and somebody getting off in the Pac-12, and you flip the channel again and somebody getting off in Atlantic 10, like, you like, wow, like, that gives you that drive to keep going. Like, what people understand, like, you got to find motivation in this consistently. Like, obviously I'm not Jay-Z, but like, when that dude come out with 6 or 7 albums, that dude got to have something different to be like, I'm coming out with album 9 and 10, and it's going to be just as good as 3 and 4, right? So, like, that's my motivation. Like, I can, I can't get to a bunch of games, because of the schedule. I just can't physically be there. But to watch, like, if I turn on TV this year and I see James Bouknight going crazy on somebody, and I turn the channel and Tyson Etienne's hitting 6 threes at Wichita State, and I turn on the Pac-12 and Quade's throwing a lob to somebody, like, it's like I have my own, like, moments on my own. Like, I don't even, I got my red wine and I'm in my own zone. But then what it do, go to bed in the morning, you like, oh, we gotta get to work. Like, we gotta create more of these. Like, we gotta have these moments. Like, people don't even understand. Like, I've never gone to the green room. Like, I've never done that. I've never gone to the McDonald's game. Like, I don't even know how many McDonald's Americans we've had. Like, I've never gone to the National Jordan Brand game. Like, I don't even go to, like, graduations, like, because it's so hard to, like, that question, that mom and pop. When you give one kid, you can't not give the other, right? So I've gone to more, low major games, and like, I go to more Ivy League games than I do, SEC games, right? But every one of our guys feel the love. Like, they know, like, yo, Coach Munch is texting Joe Toussaint at 11 o'clock p.m. about how many turnovers he had or how many open jumpers, like, against Illinois. Like, you're getting a FaceTime, like, after the game. Like, it's happening. Like, dudes is checking for real. It's not like, and that's everybody. Like, you could be the kid that's at, hey, man, I played 15 minutes and I'm at Dartmouth. Like, I'm checking the box scores to be like, yo, why'd you miss 2 free throws? What happened? You know what I mean? Like, a box score, looking at them box scores every day, But, I mean, those are the moments that keep you going. Like that wintertime, man, think about if you got ESPN, SNY, ESPN2, the Big Ten Network, the Big 12, the SEC Network, and all of your guys are on. Like, ain't nobody had that feeling when you got 9 guys on TV from 7 to 9. You lose your damn mind. Like, oh yeah, that's when you start thinking you're a machine. You know. But you got to continue to put the pain in, because when 10 go out of college, 10 got to come in.
Yeah.
You know, if you want to still feel that energy. But now it feels good. I mean, that's one of the things that it feels good. Like I watched BU. We had 2 kids at BU, Jonas Harper and Walter White. Like I watched them clinch to win the Patriot League championship last year, and to see them jumping up and down like they go into the tournament. Before COVID kicked in and canceled it, and luckily I was there at the Barclays Center a couple years ago when Hassan French clinched to go to the NCAA tournament with St. Louis. Like, these is priceless moments. Like, I remember dude huffing and puffing because he got asthma in a workout in the 8th grade to be like leading the league in blocks for 2 years. You know what I mean? Like, you compare and contrast, and you be like, man, these stories is crazy. Like, so priceless moments, man.
Do you have an all-time starting 5?
Ooh, you're gonna go there.
Trying to get you in trouble, man.
Let's do it.
This is not gonna be politically correct. Boy, that's
okay.
I don't want to. Oh man, we talk about. Oh man, I'll tell you like this. Damn, man. Like, I know one person that I know no matter what is gonna be on the team is Sheck Diallo.
Okay.
Like I'm riding with Sheck Diallo.
Okay.
Like, the rest of it, like, it's so changeable, right? Like, you got guys who, like, I'll give you an example, man. Like, the warrior that Bryce Aiken is, right? How do you pick between, like, I'll give you just, let's say the point guard position, right? How do you pick between Bryce Aiken, Ty Jerome, Cole Anthony, Quade Green, right? Now, remember the championship game with him, like, put the backpack on for the last 7 minutes and just rock, right? And then, one of my favorites has always been Shavar Newkirk, right? When we coming up and he just, right? And then you look at somebody like a Quincy McKnight and dudes is like, yo, oh man, I didn't even know he was there. Like, yeah, dude played with us and at PSA, like, and now you're looking at, obviously, like, not just a few point guards. I'm probably missing a couple, right? But how do you pick one of them dudes? Like, that's a hard, that's one of them, like, you got to pick a guy based on what style you want, I guess, like what the coach likes, but I mean, that's heavy, man. That's heavy. And then you start saying, like, all right, well, you got to pick somebody. Like, Sheck is going to that 4 or 5. But now you start looking at the second spot and you say, well, forget everything else. Like, just give me pros. And you start saying, all right, well, do I pick Amari Spellman? Do I pick Thomas Bryant? And do I say, yo, Mo Bamba, you slide in there? Like, what do you do with Chris McCullough? You know what I'm saying? Like, where does this dude fit in?
Right.
Listen, we fortunate. You know what I mean? We're extremely fortunate in that realm. And honestly, there's been guys who probably didn't make the league, but were warriors when it came down to, like, that real gritty, we need to win at that level, AAU. Like Hassan French is a guy where I'm like, man, I'm taking that dude 9 out of 9. Like, we going to work, Like, I know what he gonna give me every night. So we've had kids who, I ain't gonna lie, like, we've been real lucky, but and fortunate and blessed, and man, picking those squads is real difficult, because one thing I know is I know the heart of each kid, and I know they progress, and I know they process, and I know what they have to do. Like, you think about somebody like Sheck taking cortisone shots in the final 4 of Peach Jam, like, for the last 3-4 games, just keep playing, right? Like there's a value on that. You talking about somebody like Cheval who has like chronic back problems when he, and consistently getting the and one, hitting the floor and getting back up to make his free throw. There's a value on that. Like it's not just names. It's about what the dude been through. Like look at a kid like Terrance, like
Right.
See his progression because you end up top 40 in the country, but it ain't even about what you did at Peace Jam. It's the tour days you did for 2 straight months in that same scan gym, right? Shooting them corner threes and being ready and being prepared, like putting your body through the 2 months off before Peace Jam to be ready to play in Peace Jam, or be able to do some stuff in camp. So, I mean, and then you start looking at dudes and saying, all right, well, shit, where does James Booknight fit, right? This dude about to be, he have a good season, he going to the lottery, right? And AJ Griffin is top 5 at McDonald's game calling his name, right? Where is he going to fit? And Brandon Randolph led the team in scoring and on the team that went the furthest in the history of the program. He was a bucket. So
Wow.
I can't really pick one, man. You know what I mean?
Nice.
That's a good problem to have.
Yeah, it certainly is.
We just gotta keep creating them, keep going.
Okay. So Munch, we know what the program, where you see the program go. What do you want to do for yourself for the next 5 to 10 years? What do you want to do? Where do you see what you want to do?
It's crazy, man. I'm writing a book right now, right?
Okay.
Yeah, like I literally, it's in the editing process at speed. So I gave myself 2 years to do it. I'm probably naive about it now that I understand the book writing process, right? Like I'm like, all right, half of it you could do on your own. You don't got nobody managing your time, or you just getting it done. It's about being a Black boy, teenager, and man in society, and all the things that we go through, right? Domestic violence, police brutality, low income housing, lack of education, just anything that we all go through coming up. It's a journal-based book, and I think it's gonna be dope. And then, they give you multiple choices for each scenario that happened, right? Like if it's domestic violence and you walk in the house and your dad is sadly to say hitting on your mom, and how do you react to that situation? And, A is going to be one thing, and B, and then it gives you a moral story, and it's really a conversation starter because like if all 4 of us pick different, everybody had to explain why they picked A or why they picked B or why they picked C. And then we're talking about it and we're kind of like, okay, if this happens, how am I going to react to that? Right. So we got young Black kids coming up now, and if they're reading some of these entries and they're like, oh yeah, chances are they're going to deal with police brutality. You're 14, you're probably going to deal with it before you're 25, right? How do you deal with that when it happens to you? So the gist of the book is trying to get them to get the answers before the problems come. But then also understand that even though the problems are going to come, you still can be successful. So it chronicles a lot of things that I went through in my life, and these stories, and it's kind of therapeutic. And then stories that are close to me and people that I, just different stuff. Like what most people don't think about is, the kid that's chasing the NBA, he's never able to get a resume for real life. Right, in a job field, because he can't do internships, he can't do no summer youth, he can't do, he's always in. If you're in high school, you doing AAU in high school, and you doing all these camps and exposure events and all of this stuff. This kid, when he's done with college, to say he get injured and basketball is over, there's nothing on the resume, nothing. So like chasing that dream is good for some, but there's also the other side that we're not talking about, right? That flip side of the coin, that's like we're pretty much crippling guys in some form or fashion when they don't make it all the way to that that platform that they desire, right? And it's hard because when they're in college, guys are like, yo, you taking all these summer school classes because I need you to work out, not because I want you to be doing an internship at Goldman Sachs or Smith. You know what I mean? Like, no, you got to put this work in. That's all we doing. Like from 12, 13 years old all the way through to 22, 23. Like there's no job. So this is why you see so many guys struggling when it's like, yo, basketball's over and I don't know what I'm supposed to do outside of play. You got to find something else you want to do. So that's a 2-year process. I think I've had opportunities to be a college coach. If I go down that realm, I'll probably do that for 2 years. If I, people have asked me to be an agent. If I do that, I'll probably do that for 2 years. It work out, maybe do something at a prep school, and be like a dean of students, or maybe the principal, because I got 2 master's degrees, so I could do that. Be a principal, coach a team, and funnel PSA kids there. I could do that for 2 years, but I mean, I got a bucket list of 3 to 4 things I want to do in 8 years. But the plan, most people don't know, is I just need 1 year to do whatever I want to do with a hockey game. Like, I'm gonna have literally 360 things that I want to do that I haven't been able to do because time, right, has been occupied by the process of life, right? Like us as men, we always got something on. So we can't take the time to go to the opera. We can't take the time to get to a football game, or to go ice skating. Like, you got so much going on. You're like, man, I'm missing life. So really what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to do 8 to get 1. The concept sounds crazy, but I just want 1 year not on nobody clock and nobody asking me to do nothing, and I can do whatever the hell I want to do. That's all I'm asking for. Like, you look at real life, people working every single day to get a vacation for 4 days. That's it. And then it's back to it. Like, I just want to be able to do everything I'm doing and keep this program running and do some stuff. But I need 1 year to be like, look, I did some stuff before it's my time, before God called me. So that's my mentality. Like, you guys kind of got a inside track of all the things that I'm thinking of. The first step toward that 1 year of freedom is that book. So when we get the book done and y'all see it, y'all see it in Barnes and Nobles or in the hood or wherever, y'all like, oh, this dude is working towards what he was talking about.
Yeah.
I was gonna say, like, when I was coming up, and I'm dating myself, like, high school basketball was almost, I would say, ahead of AAU. Do you think that tide has kind of turned now, where AAU are they on the same level, or has AAU kind of surpassed the importance of high school basketball?
You know what? I would say it's program based, in my opinion. Like, there's not going to be another high school that's more important than PSA. And the reason why I say that is because of the amount of pain that we put in for 12 months. Like, we don't take a month off. Like, there's no high school that's like, hey, I'm doing all this stuff with kids, and the season is over. Like, March come, dudes is like, I'm trying to go golfing. I'm trying to spend time with my grandkids. Like, if you see us in September is fall leagues, and October is school visits, and November is the camps, and December is you going to high school games, and January you doing a party, and it's always something. So, like, you can't compare the two for us. Like, now, different programs, depending on how much they want to put in, you probably can say that a given high school is more powerful than that AAU program. But you're not going to find a high school that's more powerful than PSA, because we're literally in these kids' lives for 12 months. Like, there's not a month that go by where dudes is like, yeah, I know we're not playing, but we still need to connect. We still need to see something. We still need to be doing something together. Like, it doesn't stop. Like, so that's what I think, us as a program have that not even edge, but just that relationship, with our guys. But the best thing is to be able to work with the high schools. Like, if they can all be on the same accord and there's some synergy, the kids and their families are going to get more out of it. If you force me to answer it, I would say majority of the AAUs, it just got more exposure. It's more camps. There's more national events. There's just logistically, if you just think of something as simple as, unless you're playing in a tournament for a high school team, like a showcase where there's like 5 games that day, most colleges are playing at the same time that the high schools are playing, right? So it's very difficult for that college head coach on a Wednesday night to come to New York on a plane to see, hey, I'm coming to watch Ohalos play Malloy. Like, they're not just doing that. But in AAU, because of the setup with the circuits, we're going to have 65 to 70 coaches sitting on the sideline. You know what I mean? For a game, one game. Like, even if you're going state to state and you're watching a game, chances are on that court, you might be on a good game. There might be 7 to 8 Division I kids, right? And between the 2 high schools, if you got a big time AAU program and a big time AAU program, it could be from different states, which was going to bring more college coaches, right? If we playing Seattle Rotary and they got 10 Division I guys and they got that whole, their landscape, and we bring in 10 Division I guys, that's 20 kids, man, in different posters. And I don't think, I think I was in the AAU side as far as that's a lot of exposure, man. And then when you start doing stuff like the way we do it, like we got media day, we got photo shoots, we got combine, we got high school event, we got prep school event. Like we just got so much going on that like you can't compete with that if you're high school. Unless you big like the La Miz or the Mount Verds, that's a different story. They run the country all the time, but the normal schools, they can't. The budget ain't like that. Great question.
Well, Munch, I'm sorry. After doing some research about you and have you on the show, I could say that after hearing you talk, that you definitely are a blessing to a lot of these kids, man, who you are trying to help out and I guess direct them in the right way. And like somebody told me, I guess about you that you're in the business of helping Black youth, man. And I can see that, I can hear that, man. And I commend you personally, man. And I wish you much more success, brother.
Hey, man,
absolutely.
Yeah, I would agree.
I humbly thank you guys for giving me the opportunity to explain, right? And I think one of the things when we came up, I kept telling people like, don't tell my story. I got it. Like I know what I'm talking about. It's our story. If you want to know what's up, just ask somebody in the program. It don't got to be me. It could be whoever, a coach, a player, a parent, whoever, a director. Let us tell our own story. So what you guys are presenting an opportunity for us to continue to shed light on what we do internally. That's a priceless opportunity. And I'm humbly grateful that y'all even decided to pick up the phone and say, yo, Munch, we got something going on. We want you to jump on. I think a lot of people might think, oh, man, them dudes the machine is too big, or they too arrogant, they got too much going on, they don't want to jump on the platform. Like, we not even them type of dudes. Like, whoever pick up the jack and say, listen, man, we doing something and it's powerful, and how big this could be ESPN for all I care. You know what I mean? Like, it's just love. It's love. Y'all trying to do right, and we trying to do right. So let's continue to make the best of our time while we on this planet, man. So I salute you brothers back, and I hope everything that we done is try to help y'all at the same time.
Thank you. We definitely appreciate it. Munch, before we go, listen, definitely tell everybody about you guys' podcast and stuff like that, where they can check it out and all that stuff, so they can get that information.
Yeah, man, it's crazy. Like, it's PSA on Instagram. Man, like I don't got no social media. PSA. I mean, it's a bunch of content on there, man. Like, our guys do such a great job of handling that aspect of it. Everybody's always calling me and texting me like, yo, that stuff y'all got going on Instagram is crazy. But, it's my guy, Andre Charles and Coach Greg. Like, they in-house handle that thing on a daily basis, and a lot of content always coming that way. So, and then on Twitter, there's another gentleman, my man Mark, he handles that, and all I know how to do is retweet. I don't do nothing else. You know what I mean? So it's kudos to the team. And we here, man. I think one thing I will say to this is I got the best group of dudes next to me, man. Like that's where when people say, oh, look like a machine, is because of the dudes that's next to me. Like, people fool themselves. Like, it's an illusion for people to think, yo, Munch can actually do all the stuff by himself. Like, in your mind, you think, yo, this is a one-man show, and it's like, as long as you keep thinking that, we're gonna be great. But I know, like, I got a lot of smart dudes that's next to me, and them dudes put in a lot of pain in. And shout out to those guys. It's too many names to keep going, but that's the separator from us to anybody else. The dudes that I got around me every day. Y'all gonna have the same energy. Like, you guys gonna look around and say, like, what's making y'all great is the three of y'all putting in that individual pain. Collectively has the same. So yeah, Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, it's all over the place.
Thanks again, man. Appreciate having you on, man. Definitely continue watching, man. Continue supporting. You know, definitely.
Yep. And if we could do anything for y'all, man, let us know. All right.
All right. Thank you.
Sure.
I appreciate it.
Thanks.
Thank you.